Happy Friday. This is the Clean Hits Hockey Podcast. I'm your host, Brad. We got Clean Hits Kenny here and Clean Hits Trent. And our special topic of the day is going to be kind of taking a nice little deep dive on the chicken who has hatched. Dmitry Simashev got his first NHL point against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And we kind of figured this is a good point to really talk about the player, his profile, and what he may bring for this team down in the future. But first off, how are you boys doing? It's finally, breaking the 80s in Arizona.
I know. I'm starting to bring a light coat to work now.
Yeah.
It's 85, so I'm getting a little chilly.
Mornings are chilly. The nights are chilly. The afternoons are still hot.
Yeah, it is. I will tell you.
Fall weather.
It is pretty. I don't get out of work sometimes till 2:30 in the morning, and I walk outside and I'm like, "Ooh, God, this is." I'm gonna have to start preparing a little bit. Yeah, it's 71. Like this is chilly. It's shaking me to my core, but no, it's beautiful, and I'm excited. That means the colder it gets, that means that the closer we are to the holiday roster freeze, and that's when things the picture starts to get painted pretty clearly if you're going to be deep in the playoff discussion, or if you are slowly but surely being phased out. And with us sitting third in the Western Conference, I'm sorry, the Pacific or the Central Division. No, it's the Western Conference. Where I feel pretty good about it so far. So I'm tied for second actually with Winnipeg. They have a game in hand, but I'm feeling pretty good about it right now.
Yeah, I do too. And there's something I'll probably bring up in a little bit. There's some underlying metrics. There was a great article by Sticks and Salvos on their Substack about PDO and how it's a stat they use to kind of determine if a team is real or not. And it seems like Utah, with all the kind of underlying metrics, it's the real deal here. We're not getting like wildly outstanding goaltending versus what we should be getting. We're not getting wildly high shooting percentage that is just kind of saving us, unlike some of these other teams that are, bubbling around a wild card spot right now. But we can talk about that in a little bit too. Trent, what were you going to say?
Oh no, I was just going to say, I'm a little bit sad that Corey's not here today because, Brad, you referred to the NHL team in Toronto as the Leaves rather than the Leafs.
Oh, yeah.
I know that would have brought him some joy. So hopefully somehow Corey hears this because I'm sure he's not actually listening to these podcasts when he's not on them. But little Toronto Maple Leaves for Corey.
Yeah.
Another team in Toronto leaved, and that was the Jays leaving out of the World Series. Really fun World Series, Trent. I know you didn't bother watching, but we watched every game, and I was a Jays fan for the week and a half of it, and
I don't want to hear that.
Game was great. Every single game was great. Oh yeah, I forgot. You
forgot.
Fan.
Huh? Didn't you forget? Yeah, I'm actually a little bummed Corey's not here too because I haven't had a chance.
We could be
talk to him about that. Real petty. So
right now.
For a lot of people that don't know, I was born in Phoenix, but I spent a large portion of my life in Los Angeles County. Come from a long lineage of Los Angeles Dodgers fans. So it's the least redeeming quality about myself. Apparently, that's what I hear all the time.
I'm glad you can admit it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I when I wear a Dodgers hat bartending, I'm not even joking. I get tipped the worst. I've started to keep track of it. Like people in Arizona cannot stand Los Angeles at all.
No.
But I just happen to be blessed with one team that can spend big bank take little bank kind of thing, and they're playing within the rules. And so I wasn't alive for the 88 one. I was born in 92, so I just I didn't want to say that I'm truly not a bandwagon fan. It just happened that I've seen 3 since 2020, so I'm okay with it. But I just wanted to give a quick shout out, Corey. If you are listening, we have a lot to talk about next week. So
just one little correction there, though. You said that people in Arizona hate LA. That's I mean, that's true, but it's not entirely true. The entire truth there is everybody outside of LA hates LA. Just
forgot about that.
Yeah.
Little caveat there.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to just kind of dog on Corey here, so I'll bring up one other thing that may hit a nerve with Trent, and that is the Anaheim Ducks, who are sitting in first of the Pacific and are 1 point ahead of the Mammoths, so second in the Western. There he goes. So, oops.
Yeah.
Well, plus 13 goal differential, which is best in the entire league.
Yeah.
They are looking scary, and I can't wait for Utah to just smash them in the playoffs at some point here. But see,
what's that? Did you put yourself in a timeout? Is that what happened, or did you just lose?
No, I didn't want to hear it. But
this is a family show, Kenny, and I needed to be muted and off camera so nobody could hear or read my lips as he was doing that rundown. Yeah.
He was in a cone of silence, but you heard everything.
There may be a few holes in the drywall here. Yeah.
Now, I will say, when you look at this team, it's built very similarly to Utah, too, where it's been stacking top prospects over and over and over and not really moving them and finding ways to acquire more young players to kind of build up on this roster, and some savvy vets too. Chris Kreider's been fantastic for them.
Yeah.
I mean, Leo Carlson is really, really showing he's definitely a true number 1C, but Cooley is doing similar things here. Cutter Gauthier being a top goal scorer, and I think he's leading the entire league for shots. Dylan Guenther is not far behind here. So there's a lot of similarities between these two teams, and I think it's going to be really interesting to watch the Ducks and Mammoth have some playoff battles down the road here, because it's bound to happen, and especially if they get rid of the stupid format that they have currently. But I really think these are the two teams that are probably the most similar in the West of where they are in their current building phase or tanking phase. Obviously, the Mammoth and Anaheim are not tanking, but other teams are. And I feel like them being successful only makes me more excited about the Mammoth and what's happening here, too, because
for sure
there isn't a Celebrini or a Bedard on either of these teams. Now, you can maybe make the argument that Leo Carlson is maybe a shade away from him, or kind of in that Barkov tier of centers, but I think as the season goes by, we may be able to make some elite comparisons, player comps to Logan Cooley here too. So none of these teams have a prospect defenseman that looks like a Cale Makar level or a Quint Hughes level. And instead they're getting good play out of kind of the depth they have there. And those defensemen kind of performing the responsibility of their role. And Utah definitely has some young guys that are going to kind of be more of those role player defensemen when we'll talk about later over that kind of Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes, super elite, can do everything style of defenseman. Goaltending, where you have two goaltenders that aren't necessarily top prospects, but are really outperforming kind of the expectations too. So,
yeah,
I think you're right. I think there's a lot of similarities. I think there's like a core fundamental difference in the actual building blocks, though, kind of the foundation here, which is in Utah they're building on integrity, and in Anaheim
I knew it.
Scum, just absolute scum of the earth. So I mean, it's sort of like Bizarro Utah, like in comic books where there's this sort of deranged mutant kind of evil version. That's what they have in Anaheim, where they're just a disgusting batch of mutants. Whereas here in Utah, what we're building is the good and the right and the righteous, and we're on the side of light, whereas they're on the side of darkness.
They're just basically high-performing traffic cones with those ugly jerseys. They're the worst.
Yep. Safety orange and glittery gold. What better combination can you possibly come up with? They have the color scheme that they deserve. It's nauseating, just like they are. So it's fitting. It's apt.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they say, Utah nice as hell. So
that's right. They have said that. I've heard. Yeah.
Before we jump into kind of our main topic today, if you want to help support the Clean Hits podcast, you can subscribe, and follow us on YouTube. I know a lot of you watch us every single week and you're not subscribed, so definitely make sure you click that little icon, and that's a great way to make sure you spread the word about the Clean Hits Hockey podcast. Also, we have all of our merch at shop.cleanhitshockey.com. That's where you can grab yourself some wares like our infamous Dylan Gunther Costco shirt that was held by the man himself, or you can join Club Mammoth. Get a Mr. Versatility Elite Sergachev shirt. There's our Mr. Clayton Keller Versatility shirt, or our awesome, colorful Donor Nation approved Logan Cooley t-shirts. Again, you can get those at shop.cleanhitshockey.com. A great way to help support the podcast. And if you want to join the community, we have a fantastic Discord, and you can join that at discord.cleanhitshockey.com. All right, let's start talking about Dmitry Simashev, the man who may be kind of the talk of Mammoth fans right now. But if you're not super in touch with hockey, or you're a newer fan, you may not understand exactly why, because the man got his first career NHL point, which was a primary assist to a Sergachev bomb of a goal, and otherwise has looked absolutely fantastic for his age, has been playing that defensive shutdown role that he was kind of touted for his draft year. But again, the stats aren't really eye-popping here. So what is the deal with Dmitry Simashev? Why are so many fans excited? Why are you guys excited about this player? And through the first 14 games here, what has really stood out in his play? And obviously, what can he work on as a 20-year-old? Trent, I'm going to let you start here.
Yep.
I think, first and foremost, one thing about Dmitry Simashev that stood out to me in the last game was the intermission report with Sarah Merrifield, which was inadvertently hilarious. She was about 18 inches shorter than him and sticking her microphone way up in the air and doing her very professional media trained smile, but looking straight up. It was hilarious, especially because he was completely affectless. It couldn't be more of a foil between the two of them. It was very funny to see, very adorable. And then of course she asked him a question like, "Hey, how meaningful is it for your first assist to be with your mentor, Sergachev, the man you've been living with? This must be a wonderful feeling for you." And he's like, "No, not really. I didn't really think about it. It's just game, Like, just completely sewered it. You know what I mean? I'm like, that was such a good question. Great observation. Yeah. Of course she asked that question expecting to get gold, and by all rights she should have, but she didn't. And then
it was probably gold to Sergachev, though.
Yeah. And even funnier is later they asked Sergachev in the post game about it, and he did get a bit gushy about it, not knowing that Simashev had poured cold water on it. And he did drop a new nickname, so new nickname alert. Maybe we should play the horn. I don't know. New nickname alert. Okay, so not only did Dmitry Simashev disclose a nickname for Daniil Boot, a much needed one, at Butsky, he said. Very casually, Mikhail Sergachev referred to Dmitry Simashev as Simmer. So we've got Simmer and Butsky. All right, it's been decided. There it is.
That's gonna rock my show. I'm not gonna kid you.
Henceforth, two guys in desperate need of nicknames are going to be Simmer and Butsky. So get used to that.
Wow, the creativity, man. Just
sounds like a law firm.
NHL players.
There's a shirt to be made there. The law firm of Simmer and Butsky.
Simmer down.
Yeah, I love it.
That's it.
So the thing that I love about that is That's exactly as advertised, right? There's
Yep.
this old adage with defensive defensemen. I call it the Nicholas Hjalmarsson effect. Nick Hjalmarsson, if you didn't hear about him, it's a good thing. That means he was doing exactly what he was supposed to do. He may not end up on the stat sheet a lot. He may not be the talk of the league, but he's one of the most highly coveted players in his position, and it's because he just does everything right. And there's for our Coyotes fans out there, Zbigniew McCulloch was very similar in that fashion. When he was acquired by Pittsburgh, he was acquired for a good amount, and people outside of Arizona were kind of confused by that. But when he gets to Pittsburgh and he's on a deep playoff run with that stacked team, people realize, wow, this guy is such an important piece to have in intense, unique situations like going on a deep run in the playoffs. So not comparing him to Hjalmarsson right off the hop, but it is nice to see that his sound defensive play and him doing all the right things hasn't come with another game later on in the week. He's completely exposing himself and creating a odd man opportunity the other way by getting out of position. He's just been steady and consistent. And I do feel that it was kind of ironic that when we started talking about Simashev, Trent's dog started going off because the dude is an absolute dog, and you can tell.
He is.
And he's a fun player to watch. His skating has transitioned very well. His positioning's been great. He looks like he fits in. He looks like a 2-year vet, and he's only played a handful of games, which I love to see.
Yeah, that's
Totally
one
agree.
of the most impressive things here is just how much of an NHLer he looks already. I think some of the moments have really stood out in my mind already where the way he confronted Draisaitl in that like first shift of that Edmonton game, he got right in his face, right up against the blue line, and kind of forced him to turn it back on the other side, which kind of ended any sort of breakout that Edmonton line was trying to do. The amount of times that he was able to catch up to McKinnon against the Colorado Avalanche in the second match against them. I mean, this is a player that is going to be absolutely critical to this team for years and years and years. Now, there's always that debate of is he a true number 1 or 2 defenseman if he can't produce offensively. And I was looking at a few numbers of kind of players that are really kind of shut down defensive defensemen that are kind of considered in that upper echelon. Devon Toews, Gustav Forsling were the ones that really stood out to me. Toews has several 50-point seasons, which feels kind of crazy to me. Forsling is
team.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely partially just because that offense has been top 3 for 5 seasons straight now. But Forsling has been, I think his career high was in the 40s. I'll just double check that. But obviously, one point in 14 games, we're not on that pace yet. And obviously, he is a rookie, and there's lots of time for him to develop offensively. But I feel like there's been some terrible luck too. I mean, this guy came very close to scoring several times now. His transition game's fantastic. Outlet passes could be better, but I really do feel like if there were third assists on goals, he would be racking them up. But it just so happens kind of be like the way the plays unfold that he has been critical in helping to develop. It just so happens to be 3 people touch the puck before the goal happens after he's brought it into the zone or got it off the boards, and it's just kind of the way the cookies crumbled so far to me.
Yeah,
and I think it's incredible. He throws those home runs into the neutral zone from deep in the corner, completely escapes pressure and clears the zone very well, especially to a winger or a center who's flown the zone early and can get connected with in the neutral zone. So that's great to see. And I think that precision passing that you see from him and that we have seen from him, combined with his newfound freedom to actually skate with the puck, something that was highly discouraged in Yaroslavl in the KHL, where he was playing previously, especially as a young rookie on a Gagarin Cup winning championship team that featured like legends like Alexander Radulov on the team, right?
Yeah.
This was a kid who was already paying dues for a top program and had his wings clipped a little bit. We've seen him willing to pinch a little bit more, willing to transport the puck with it on his stick a little bit more. So I think that we've seen the playmaking skill in difficult situations demonstrated very clearly. I think it's only a matter of time before that starts to translate to more points in the offensive zone, especially given his all-compass skating mobility, his lateral skating mobility along the blue line. That's going to open up lanes and options for him. He's continued to add strength. I've seen a huge progression in the shot velocity and power that he gets on that big shot of his that used to be a muffin back when he was a junior player, and it is no more. So as soon as he gets some legit shot threat credibility around the league, that's going to open up options for him for the pass as well. So I think it will be just a matter of time before you start to see the offense take another step. He, to your point, Brad, will not be probably a PP1 top point producer in the league or anything like that. But when you look at some of the really good two-way defensemen who are more known for elite shutdown skills, somebody like Jacob Slavin, who's maybe the current best example of this. He's only got one 40-point season under his belt in the NHL.
Yeah.
A lot of 20s and 30s, only 140. Ryan McDonough had some 40-point ones a little bit earlier in his career, but over the last 10 years or so, it's been mostly lower point totals than that. So I could see a little bit of Jacob Slavin, a little bit of Ryan McDonough in his game. And those guys definitely are not useless offensively. They're not offensive black holes. They do contribute offensively. They just don't really drive the bus, which is okay because we don't really need that from Simashev to begin with.
Right.
And before I jump back to you, I want to make one little side comment about Ryan McDonough here. Ryan McDonough coming back to Tampa was a big reason why Tampa felt they were able to trade Mikhail Sergachev to the Utah Mammoth, mind you. And I think that is really telling of what the way they wanted to make up that blue line for their kind of last playoff runs in this window that they had, where they felt that it was more important to have a true shutdown guy to play with Hedman, and they probably felt they were missing a little bit of that over the past couple seasons. And maybe with Vasilevsky getting a little bit older, they felt like they needed to have a more big bruising type blue line than the more the finesse that Sergachev can bring in the two-way play. Obviously, getting JJ Moser has helped too, just to be able to kind of get two bona fide defensemen for the price of one in a way. But when we're talking about this team making the playoffs for season after season after season, and when we kind of talk about, is there enough of kind of the size and the bruising ability, you got to think that Simashev is going to potentially be a playoff hero for this team once we get to those phases of contention. Kenny, go ahead.
No, it's just quickly to touch on both of you guys' points, because I love the players that you guys brought up in comparison, and just to touch on your comparison of Devon Toews, in his first couple seasons with New York, when he really started to catch the attention of playoff contending teams like Colorado. His first year he put up 18 points in 48 games. Second year with New York, he did have a slight increase, 28 and 68. But even in a year like this year, currently, he's playing with the most highly skilled defenseman we've seen in this league probably since Bobby Orr. He's got 3 assists in 14 games. So it's if you are a little concerned about his productivity in regards to showing up on the score sheet, you do have to consider the fact that he has been woefully unlucky in regards to, like what Brad said, if there was a third assist stat, he'd probably be right up there on the team. But he's also young. He's also from Russia, adjusting to a smaller ice surface, and he still looks to be doing what is asked of him every night. And to Trent's point, as a byproduct, those points will come. But I do think it is fair to go back and look at those defenders that we're comparing them to early on in their careers and seeing that they do have a lower stat line. And it's because they are fine tuning their defensive game before getting a little bit more comfortable, like you guys mentioned. So just a quick comparison to the Tays reference.
One other thing I had jotted down that kind of surprised me, because it almost feels like this wouldn't be the case. Simashev only has a penalty in 4 games, one of which he had 10 minutes worth. I think that was when he kind of got into it with Cooley. Right, and it was, I think, got a roughing or a fighting major, but I thought that was really impressive for a guy that plays big and physical, and this is kind of what he was advertised as a very smart player who is able to shut down the opposition without taking penalties and getting the team in trouble. And here we are. I mean, he has limited minutes. He's about averaging around 15 or so, 15 and a half minutes per game. Certain games he's eclipsing kind of that 18-minute, 17-minute category, and others he's getting a little bit more limited. I'm sure it's mostly kind of game flow as well. One thing, and
let's not forget. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. This is going to be kind of pivoting, so go for it.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, we can't transition off of Simashev without mentioning, the other underrated quality there, which is that he dresses exactly like the hacker from Grandma's Boy.
Yes. The fits have been awesome.
Oh man.
Yes, yeah, he looks just like that. What's that? What's that
name?
Yeah, Grandma's Boy. And then also, what is that fake Euro EDM band? You know what I'm talking about?
You're not talking about like Devo, are you?
No, they're American. They're from Akron, Ohio.
Are they?
Yeah,
I'm way out to lunch. Brush up on my EDM bands here.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, but anyway, Grandma's Boy hacker. That's
yeah.
There we go.
He's been called out a couple times on larger podcasts too about that. Everybody's kind of trying to get their feelings on the lax dress code, and it's funny. He's been called out a few times, so he's fitting in like a glove. He's definitely not afraid to be himself, which I love.
I'm talking Planet of the Base.
Planet of the Base.
You lost me.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh my gosh! I'll put a link in it in the YouTube comments. Oh, it's horrible, but it's horrible on purpose. And anyway, he looks exactly like the dude from Planet of the Base. Anyway.
He looks like he could be an ace of base too.
Oh my god! Yeah. Quick Google search. I love
it. Did you do Planet of the Base?
Oh my god! I'm so sad I don't know about this guy, but now I do.
You got to listen to it. Right, highly recommend to anyone listening to this podcast.
This is a comedian. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Parody was the word I was thinking of. I was
hilarious.
Yeah. Planet of the Base. That's Dmitry Simashev right there. Yeah.
Again, another shirt idea we aren't at the toy around with.
Yeah. All right, I want to do a little game here. Dmitry Simashev was taken 6th overall in the 2023 NHL entry draft, shocking all Coyotes fans at the time who thought for sure we were going to go forward. And the mastermind of Bill Armstrong, all but indicating that he was ready to take Ryan Leonard in that draft class. Here's the next couple of players that went after him. Mishkov at 7, Ryan Leonard at 8, Nate Danielson to the Red Wings at 9, Delbor Dvorsky to the Blues at 10, Tom Willander to the Vancouver Canucks at 11, Daniil Boot, obviously, to Arizona Coyotes Mammoth at 12, Zach Benson at 13 to the Buffalo Sabres, Braden Yeager to the Pittsburgh Penguins at 14, and Matthew Wood to the Nashville Predators at 15. I would say any of those guys, give or take a little bit, would have been a reasonable pick at number 6. Maybe some not as much as others. right now, 14 games, and I want some flag posts here. Out of those names, who would you take over Simashev still? And some of these guys haven't hit the NHL, obviously. Most of them have. I think.
Well, Michkov doesn't count, right? You can't count Michkov because
Michkov wasn't going to go to the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, he's a player. I mean, it's hard to.
Yeah. So removing Michkov, Ryan Leonard. It's been decent for the Capitals.
That one's tough for me. I like
series
him.
Or two last season too. Yeah, but
I could probably tell you who I wouldn't take over him. I don't like the Danielson pick by Detroit. Dvorsky, I like the idea of the player, but I don't know if he's going to be anything more than a second line center or an elite third line center. And I think Simashev is a top four defenseman in his prime, which I value more than a third line center. Willander, is it Willander?
Willander.
I'm not sure about him yet. I know there's a lot of upside there. Wood, I easily take Simashev over Wood.
Yeah, even though he's not lately, I think he's season already. But I mean, especially with the makeup of this team,
Benson's tough. I like Benson a lot, but I still think at this point I take Simashev over him. I know, Trent, that might be a tough one for you because you were high on Benson in his draft year, and you in fact made me pretty high on him. I don't know. I don't think there's many. I'd say that overall right now that Simashev at number 6 in such a small sample size is looking like a pick right where he was supposed to be taken.
Yeah, I think that's the main takeaway there. I like some of those guys a little bit more than you do, especially Nate Danielson. I think that it's hard to answer the question, right? The two names that I would have had right there at the time were Ryan Leonard and Zach Benson. I actually had Zach Benson ahead of Ryan Leonard. I had Zach Benson ahead of all, but I don't remember how many guys. I think I maybe had him 4th or 5th, something crazy like that. I think I had him 5th. But I knew he was not going to go in the top. I knew he was not going to go in the top 10. So I probably would have deferred and not picked Benson there, and probably would have picked Leonard. But then what I would have ended up with was 2 wingers of average height. Leonard's a thick bulldog of a player, but he's not terribly large. So 2 smaller wingers. So that definitely would have impacted then how and who I drafted after the fact. So that would have probably really changed the whole makeup of the team. And what I can say is having secured Simashev at boot probably allows the team to then feel comfortable picking T.J. Ginla and Cole Baudouin, which makes them feel comfortable picking Caleb Desnoyers and Max Senica. And, I don't know that I'd want to play the butterfly effect game of changing up the selection. But would I rate anyone as clearly ahead of him that was picked after him? No, I wouldn't at this point. Ryan Leonard and Zach Benson are still probably the closest for me as they were the day of. But no, I wouldn't say Michkov, obviously. Yeah,
Yeah, it's really interesting because I don't think many of us felt this way when the day of the draft or when the pick was made. I think a lot of us were like, well, let's hope this turns out all right. But 14 games in, I'm it's so early in all these players' careers, but it's feeling like he was picked right around where he should be. And the defenseman that went the first defenseman off the board, Daniel Reinbacher, has not hit the NHL yet.
Yeah, Reinbacher was the one guy in that class I didn't want. You know what I mean? Like, so Montreal comes up and they take Reinbacher. It's like, oh my gosh, the guy I didn't want is off the board, because there was a lot of rumors about Reinbacher in Arizona at the time. So he was gone. I'm like, holy smokes, this is amazing. Reinbacher's off the board. They can't disappoint me. Michkov's there, so maybe he was willing to come here. If he was, we're about to get Michkov. They step up. They say a whole bunch of like Russian words.
I know.
Yaroslav
And me
Lokomotiv.
too.
Mhm.
It gets everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's Michkov. And then it's Dmitry Simashev. And the air gets sucked out of the room.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It was nuts.
Well, we're thrilled to see him continue to develop. And again, just go to any of your favorite nature shows and watch some lions or tigers pouncing on their prey, because this is how this man plays to puck carriers. And it's kind of uncanny how similar he is to a predator out in the wild. All right, let's switch up topics a little bit here. And we have some thoughts on the new kids on the block line here. The JJ Peterka, Logan Cooley, Dylan Gunther line has gone cold after being arguably the hottest line in the NHL for a week. I guess you can maybe make the argument that the Keller, Schmaltz, Hayton line was right there too. This one has dried up. Three games now without a point. 2 of those games, 2.5 of those games, they were not really pressuring as much as we see them do. And this is a line that last year and for the early parts of the season had been better and more productive on the road. Last year especially was the case, with Gunther and Cooley being much better on the road than at home for a majority of the season. I guess you could probably say that for most of the team, but Keller and Schmaltz were much more productive at home. So it's been a little bit of, obviously they're not going to be putting up a point every single game of the night or of the season, but I think we are seeing a little bit of adversity hit. I think teams are getting a little bit more prepared to have to take on 2 lines that are very fast and can be offensively productive. But we've seen some pushback by the new kids on the block line as well. Guys, what are your thoughts so far?
I think that Dylan Gunther did sneak in a trash time goal there at the end of the Toronto game too. So he did get his cookie there at the end. I think that even when they're not producing, they are splitting the attention of the opponent's defenses, right? So I think they may be a blow-off valve for pressure for the Keller and Schmaltz line. So I think there may be some like intrinsic value of having another very dangerous line, even if it's a bit of a cold line for other teams to contend with. So I think that's helpful. We did just recently see a tweet from, I think it was Cole Bagley or maybe Broken Houston, saying that at practice they were running Peterka with Hayton and Cooley with Keller. So that's pretty interesting that they may be looking at a Peterka, Hayton, Gunther line or a Keller, Cooley, Schmaltz line. So I think that, they did get shut down pretty effectively by Tampa. Wasn't a whole lot better against a motivated Buffalo team who wanted to shut down Peterka. Toronto was a tough outing as well. They did sneak in that one at the end, but I think the third period of Toronto kind of showed me something a little bit different from that line, specifically Cooley and Gunther, and specifically Cooley. He flipped a switch there that I think we may be able to look back at and point to in the future. Until this point, we've seen glimpses of Logan Cooley's pushback, his FU, his swagger, his willingness to engage physically. We've seen flashes of it, but I have not seen him turn into a raging bull, Nate McKinnon-esque player as consistently as he did in the third period of that Toronto game, where he was hitting everything that moves. He was involved in every scrum. He was taking it was all pushback, hitting, going violently into the corners, charging the net. We saw Dylan Gunther lay out Dakota Mermis with a big hit. Mermis seek retribution later in a scrum. Gunther was knocked down and the bridge of his nose split open. He was bleeding everywhere, cursing up a blue streak, ends up knocking in a goal late in the third. So I really like to see how they responded to that adversity with physical intensity and not being willing to just accept a cold streak. And making damn sure that if they're going to be held off the score sheet, they're still going to be contributing to the game in a meaningful way. And it looks to me like they just kind of flipped a switch and made a decision that they were going to go blood and guts, balls to the wall in that third period against Toronto, whether or not they were going to be rewarded with points. So that was very heartening to me to see that. And I think something that projects very well for the future of this team, especially with guys like Tige and Denoyer coming up, and Colbert-Douin and Maverick Lamoureux and all these first rounders not on the roster who also have that pushback, that grit to their game to go along with their skill. I think what you're seeing is the shaping of a new identity for the Utah Mammoth.
Agreed. And I know that cold streaks can be a little alarming, but one fact that I think we can all feel comfortable with is we have two top lines, and it's okay if they're interchangeable every once in a while. It's okay to throw a wrench into things and motivate a couple players by, hey, you're being promoted to, playing with the two top scorers on our team, and you are moving down to see if there's a better fit here. The good news is they're not just laying down. Like Trent's point is that Cooley and Gunther, two highly skilled players on our team, showed a little bit of snarl and frustration that while they weren't putting up or playing the way that they felt they should be playing, they were going to make an impact in the game. And it's that's what's I feel the most comfortable with moving forward, especially after you just handed these guys the biggest paycheck that they've ever seen in their lives as 21-year-olds, right? Yeah, Cooley is set for the next 8 years. And sometimes when you see these young players get the bag, they kind of take their foot off the gas pedal a little bit. And I know it's early yet, but to see Cooley with the highest payroll on our team as a 21-year-old, freaking out that he's not been putting up points and getting pissed off that his team is not performing the way he wants to, that's a great sign for the future. Yeah, that means he's going to be a player that is looking to earn every penny of his contract every night that he's playing. So while it's a little disheartening to see, these are all young players, and Peterka's brand new to the team. Peterka probably had a little bit of an emotional game playing against Buffalo as well. There's a lot of factors that can go into this, and if there's a slight change up to these two lines, think of it as a positive thing because it's just going to motivate them to get back to where they were.
Yeah, agreed. Speaking of balls to the wall, that phrase just stuck out in my head, and I actually had to look it up. Do you guys know where it came from?
Oof. I'm hoping.
Well, I'll let you think on that. Another thing that has been balls to the wall for this team, though, has been that third line as of late of Krause and Carcone and McBain. And this was something this team was seriously lacking last year, was the depth scoring. So it's been great to see them kind of propping the team up lately. These past three games, they've been kind of critical of keeping the team either in the game or for the Buffalo game, helping them win it. But it's nice to see the resurgence of Carcone, who's been absolutely fantastic this season. And I think what we will be seeing here with kind of these top three lines is now when one gets cold, at least we have two lines that can kind of step up and try to get sparked at the right time. Where last season, it really felt like if the top six wasn't scoring, it was just game over.
Right.
So I definitely feel like this iteration of the roster right now really has a shot to be in every single game that they've played so far. Time's up. Any idea where the phrase "balls to the walls" came from?
I'm going to guess drag. I'm going to guess drag racing. I'm going to guess, drag racing is my guess.
I was thinking Yang Yang twins.
And by the way, I know we're talking about a sensitive subject here, so I need to reiterate that. I mean, the motorsport drag racing is what I mean there. Okay.
I didn't even think about the other option. Oh, that's great.
But you are close. It's the aviation term of pushing the ball-shaped knobs on the ends of the aircraft throttle levers towards the wall for maximum throttle.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. I wonder if that's a sanitized version, but maybe
I
not.
think it was cleaned up a little bit. So you're telling me it had nothing to do with
the Ying Yang twins?
Ball
No,
bearings.
I'm sorry.
369. Dang, she fine. Okay.
You know what? What would it cost to license that as our new theme song for the podcast? Probably too much.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably.
Yin Yang twins might be taking anything that they can get right now.
But if you'd like to help us potentially get the Ying Yang Twins song as the Clean Hits theme, you can help support the podcast by liking or subscribing on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts.
That's
or
our
you
new
can grab
goal.
one of our awesome t-shirts at shop.cleanhitshockey.com.
Oh man,
Perfect transition. I know we are kind of running out of time here, so let's talk a little bit about the prospects and how things have been looking over the past 2 weeks. We haven't really had a prospect update the last couple episodes. So, Trent, would you like to kind of start us off here? We've had some big weeks for 3 of the Mammoth's top prospects yet again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been taking it a little easy on my 2026 entry draft scouting prospect watching because
maybe that's a topic for another show next week.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I'm not sure we're gonna necessarily be keeping that pick. So I'm trying not to get too attached to anybody in that class. But what I have been doing is picking games to watch where our prospects are playing against other eligibles so that I can kind of multitask. So the upshot there is I've seen most of Daniil Boot's games in the AHL. I've seen most of Tisha Ginla's games in the WHL, and I've seen most of Cole Baudouin's games in the OHL. Tej and Cole are currently both putting up 2 points per game in their respective junior leagues, which is incredible to see. And it's not just that they're putting up points, it's how they're putting up points. Both look absolutely physically dominant. Tej's speed and skating has reached a whole new level. Same with Cole Baudouin. Both of them look incredible from a mobility perspective coming from where they were. Tej was already a good skater. He's now a phenomenal skater. Cole Baudouin was a worrisome skater. It was sub-average for the OHL as recently as last season. He's taken it to a whole new level.
Really?
He's a very, very strong skater in the OHL now. He's hitting everything that moves. He's being an absolute bully, crashing the net. His playmaking has taken huge strides. He had 4 assists in his last game. Some of them were seeing eye, beautiful slot passes from the corner, winning a puck battle, turning around, having the presence of mind to put it right into the low slot, connecting with a player there for a tap in. He's setting up Kishan Aitchison. The two of them have wonderful chemistry. Kobo is winning puck battles, seeing Aitchison creep into the zone out of the corner of his eye and setting him up for goal after goal, game-winning goal after game-winning goal. He's really demonstrating a very, very high level of skill to go with the brute force and brawn. His added mobility and skating powers allowed him to throw bigger hits and use his physicality more meaningfully in games to really turn the tide. I'm reminded very often when I watch him of Coyotes legend Shane Doan, that combination of brute force and skill in his game. Could not be happier with Cole Baudouin's development. I was saying earlier in our Discord that I'm struggling to remember a Coyotes or Mammoth prospect that showed a bigger advancement in a single season in junior from one year to the next than what I've seen from Cole Baudouin. Completely blown away. This is the kind of season I barely even dared to dream, barely even dared to hope for.
Wow.
And we're getting it from Kobo. It's been amazing to see. Tisha Ginla, his skating, the way that he's beating defenders, the way he's going straight up on guys, 1-on-3, very junior style stuff that probably won't play out in the NHL, but it's good to see him imposing his will in that way and playing absolutely fearlessly in the WHL despite the double hip surgery. He has not taken it easy, boys. He is the exact same amount of junkyard dog on a bone that he was in his draft year, just relentless in his attack. So super excited to see both of those guys at the World Juniors. Daniil Boot is tied for the team lead in scoring in Tucson. I think he's 3rd in rookie scoring in the AHL. Similarly, he's doing that by being very dangerous in the low slot. He's attacking the front of the net. He's mixing it up. He's imposing his will on on an AHL level, which is very heartening to see. They call it the jungle for a reason, boys. The AHL is a very tough league. A lot of hungry guys trying to make a name for themselves. And Daniel Boot is certainly one of those hungry guys trying to make a name for himself. And he is doing that on a regular basis. I'm really excited. I'm going to be driving down to Tucson tomorrow to take in a Roadrunners game against Coachella Valley. So barring any unexpected call-ups, I'll hopefully be able to lay eyes on Maverick Lamoureux and Daniel Butt down on the farm tomorrow night. Taking the boys to Karchner Caverns, which they haven't been to on Sunday. So really excited about that.
Nice.
Really good news on the Caleb Desnoyers front. He, of course, came back from his wrist surgeries much sooner than we all expected. I was the ultimate mush and said, just be careful out there, Desi, in a tweet. And then he proceeded to take what looks scarily like a major head injury late in the game there. But he's back already. He made his return. Started out a little rusty, picked up steam towards the end of the game, and is looking more and more like himself. So good things to come from him in Moncton. It's going to be hard for me to maintain my hatred of the Canadian national team at the World Juniors if we have a 3-pack of Utah Mammoth prospects representing Canada. It will help that the Team Canada did drop their new international jerseys, at least for the Olympics today, and they are butt ugly. Just probably some of the worst jerseys they've ever had as a nation, which is saying something. They're not as bad as those weird mustard yellow ones they wore for a while, but they are in the upper echelon of bad Team Canada jerseys.
Oh man, I gotta look at that.
That's gonna help mitigate any potential temptation I have to root for Canada because of Tej, Kobo, and Desi. So that is my rapid fire prospect report in a nutshell.
That was amazing. That was incredible, dude. Yeah, you're right. Those jerseys are awful.
It looks like a robo turkey butt, not a maple leaf. You know,
it looks
like
God.
It looks like a robotic turkey mooning you.
Yeah. What's up with the stripes not going around the full waistline? I don't understand. But
they used up all their fabric on that ridiculous 3-dimensional leaf thing. They didn't have any thread count left to finish the striping. Bizarre.
Well, hopefully our players look much better than these jerseys do. You're absolutely right. They're awful.
I think USA should go back. USA should go back to the classics and then just stay there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't see Sweden. They have the Tre Corona and they just stick with it. It looks amazing. USA should just get the upper hand on Canada by picking those classic ones that we all like and just stop screwing with it, man. You know?
Right. I know.
Anyway.
I know. But the performance by Kobo this season has been just absolutely stellar, and I definitely think he's motivated. And he's even had some quotes saying that he was a little disappointed getting sent down, and he's making sure that the team notices. So another high character pick by BA, and Tej's recovery from hip surgery has been fantastic to see, and he is going to be a dog in this league once he hits it, and he'll have all the confidence in the world, especially because he's been around the NHL his entire life. All right, upcoming schedule for the Utah Mammoth. We got the Canadians tomorrow, then a back-to-back against the Senators on Sunday to end this Eastern road trip. They have the couple days off until Wednesday, which they will host the Buffalo Sabres again. Which will be really interesting to have a homecoming for Michael Kesselring and Josh Doan. Then Friday, they will take on the Islanders at home and then have the weekend off only to start a quick road trip where they will take on the red-hot Anaheim Ducks and the ice-cold San Jose Sharks in a back-to-back game next Monday and Tuesday. When we're talking about the farm team, if we can't get the offense going in these next two games to finish off this road trip, you gotta wonder if Daniil Boot potentially gets called up for
Sheesh.
that next couple games.
I love that.
Yamamoto has had what, 1 or 2 goals? Definitely had a goal his first game, getting called back up. Has been a little bit of a spitfire. It's been a nice little spark, but I kind of feel like that spark is waning now. I really wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of Budski up here if this team can't crack 3 goals in one of these next 2 games here.
Someone has to get Jack McBain going.
Yes, I
and
agree.
He needs a change. I'm glad to see the face-off percentage uptick. I am praying that he can keep that up and make Kevin Stenlund a bit redundant so that we might be able to open up a roster spot for a younger player next season. So I'm pleased to see the face-off percentage growing for Jack McBain, but it seems like he needs a change. He needs some kind of a spark. Lawson Krause, Michael Carcone, Jack McBain, these are not skilled playmakers. They work hard. They bang bodies. They knock in ugly goals in front of the net, which is great. Daniil Boot brings that down low, below the hash mark skill and playmaking that I think would be a nice complement to what they're bringing to the table. So if you could insert him into Carcone's spot on that third line and then insert Carcone into Yamamoto's spot on the fourth line and then insert Yamamoto into Daniil's Boot spot down in Tucson, I think you could unlock some additional offense in that third line.
Yes.
And as well as providing a bit of a spark of offense, because the idea of Tanev, Stenlund, and Carcone on that fourth line is pretty darn appealing.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And that fourth line has been a little bit quieter than I would have expected. I actually thought that fourth line looked pretty dang top notch going into the season, but offensively, especially Tanev, it hasn't been really rolling. And I know Tanev can get going here. I mean, this is a guy who's put up, gosh, does he have a couple 50-point seasons? But no. I feel he is off to kind of a slow start for the expectations, just offensively. Defensively, the hits, everything else that he brings to the game has been fantastic. But I would like to see him have more than just a single point in 14 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, 51 points just a couple seasons ago with the Seattle Kraken.
Wow. I wouldn't have guessed that.
Games played.
No. That's Pimps. That's Pimps.
You're right. I did this I think I've done this before.
Oh, yeah. I was like, wait a minute.
I was going to say
51
and 35 points as a career. Jeez,
okay.
Yeah.
No, but
20 was quite a bit off there too.
25 to 35 would be good, and if he can squeeze in those 25 to 35 in the last 70. 65 plus games of the season, that comes in even more handy, right? So to your point, there could be a hot streak there, and we need it. So I think I think that there's some good tinkering that can happen. I think getting Yamamoto off of PP2 would be beneficial. I think Daniil Boot is a power play weapon, and one that second unit could really use. I think giving JJ Peterka Daniil Boot rather than Kyler Yamamoto to work with as a line mate on that second power play could really unlock some things as well. So this is my strong case for getting Daniil Boot up in Utah before too long, but not before tomorrow night. Please, not before tomorrow night.
That would be something, dude. That would suck. I would hate that for you.
Oh, Utah is 21st in power play percentage with 18.6%. So yes, it would be nice to get that rolling, whether that's the second power play unit or the top one. Seems like that is one of the areas that should be a strength that has not really clicked this year, despite the team being 11th for goals for per game. All right. Anything else, guys? That was a fun one.
Yeah, no, that was great. Just excited. Trent, enjoy your time tomorrow. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I hope you take lots of pictures and your kids have a blast. And I'm really excited you get to go and do that. So can't wait to hear about it.
I'm excited too. And yes, I'll bring him some carne asada and boys. Let's make sure that we get down there as a trio here before too long. Let's if Butski doesn't get called up for the next road trip, we shouldn't wait too long to get down there and lay eyes on him as the Three Musketeers on a road trip. All DD. Let's do a 1 day turnaround. Yep.
Okay.
All right. That sounds great.
Awesome. Well, this is the Clean Hits Hockey Podcast. Again, give us a like, subscribe, follow us on all of our socials, and we will catch you next time. Tusk.
We're running the game now. Foot on the gas, get slowed down. No, my team, we